Hello, I'm Darby. Welcome to this week's snack. Today I want to share some of my more unique resolutions. In addition to all the normal stuff like drinking more water, eating more vegetables, being more active, I also have some things that are maybe just a little different that I thought would be fun to share. Now, my true nature looks like a bed-rot zombie that plays mobile phone games until the sweet abyss of sleep overwhelms me. But a large part of surviving under late capitalism means finding ways to trick myself into being a productive person. Making a list of goals with deadlines and documenting that progress on something like this YouTube channel are all ways that I trick my half-functioning brain into staying off social media and to avoid spending my life savings on Candy Crush power-ups. Most of my resolutions are in response to being a fully remote worker. One of the biggest adjustments that I had working from home is no longer having a commute. I went from spending an hour on a bicycle commuting to and from my office to walking 3 feet from my bed to my desk. And now, for the first time in my life, I really have to plan my social outings. I really benefited from an office culture where people were constantly making plans and casually inviting me to them. I have to make those plans myself now. Alright, so let's get into the resolutions. My very first one is to sit on the floor. I think sitting on the floor is going to be the new drink more water. There's a growing body of evidence that shows that the health outcomes for people living in a floor culture are really, really good, especially as you age. I also have a unique perspective as someone who's half Korean and half American. I have two grandmothers. I love them both very dearly. One grandmother lives in a car-centric suburb where most of her time is spent sitting on a couch. I have another grandmother who lives in a very walkable city who spends most of her time watching TV, relaxing on the floor. And there's just an undeniable difference in mobility, flexibility, and fitness that they have as a consequence of the different cultures they live in. If I'm watching TV, if I'm playing a video game, I'm going to try to do it on the floor. Delete more photos. I know computer memory is cheap, and there's no practical reason for wanting to delete photos, but the consequences of having hundreds of thousands of photos means I just never review, I never reminisce. It feels daunting to try to find something from 5 years ago. So if I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, if I have free time on a bus, instead of scrolling social media, I want to review and delete more photos so that the stuff that I have feels very intentional and wanted. Sad media is a sometimes treat. I'm a sensitive person, and I want to be more in control of my mood. Nothing derails a weekend like watching a really sad movie on a Friday night. The emotional hangover I experienced after watching Iron Claw meant that I was just in my bed, depressed and sad, for no reason. And I just don't want to waste time like that anymore. Host a game hour for my other Korean language learning friends. So even though I'm half Korean, I'm not fluent in it. I think I'm like a high A3, low B1 speaker. My listening and speaking skills are pretty rough, and I think it's because I mostly learn on my own. So by the end of the year, I want to host at least one game hour where we play something like Good Pizza, Great Pizza in Korean. And if I like hosting those, maybe I do it more frequently. If I learn about a scam, I want to try sharing it with my family. When I learn about a crypto scam or bank exploit or something like that, I just assume that my friends and family are also aware of it, and they're also taking the necessary precautions to protect themselves from, creeps and frauds. But I'm not going to assume that anymore. And I also want my friends and family to be in a habit of sharing that stuff with me. These scams are getting way more sophisticated, and I can't just assume that my common sense is going to protect me. Another goal I have is I want to learn hiragana and katakana before my first trip to Japan this year. I'm not going to pretend like this is going to be helpful or practical for my trip. It's just for funsies and because I think it's going to be good for my brain. And rapid fire the rest of the things I want to do this year. I'd like to complete a wearable crochet project. A shirt, a sweater, a hat, something like that. Something easy and quick because it's a skill I'd like to have. I'd like to have a website for all my content. I'd like to modernize my front-end development skills by taking and completing a React course. I want to continue my no-buy ban on art supplies until I use up the ones I already have. I want to try filming a book vlog. Book vlogs are some of my favorite content to watch on YouTube, and I'd like to try doing one. I want to learn how to stretch my own canvas. I want to learn how to mend and tailor my own clothes. I get a lot of inspiration from hearing other people's resolutions, goals, and aspirations for the year. So please comment with something you're excited to do this year. And please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.